Hopefully that will hold. Not the prettiest weld, but I'm using flux core because I'm out of gas. So, if that band-aid holds, I'll be happy. So I've been fighting this thing for a while, trying to get the cooler lines for the oil cooler bolted back up to the bottom of the motor before mounting the motor, and that's just not seeming like it's a very easy solution. Maybe if I had a lift or a way of actually getting underneath it. I was trying to use that wood block to hold the front of the motor up so I could get the oil cooler lines in there, but it just wasn't gonna work. So went ahead and I put this first sleeve here back in for the front motor mount. I got to do the same for the rear transmission mount there, and just start getting that bolted back into the cradle. And then as far as the bolt for the swing arm, I think it is still usable. It didn't take to the jackhammering very well to knock it out of the swing arm, but the threads otherwise looked undamaged. I could probably grind away that spot at the very top right there and maybe clean that up with a triangle file. This part right here is where the little dog ears that mount were rubbing on it. So you can see those right there. So I'm not worried about the threads there. And ultimately, I don't like the way the swing arm attaches, so I'm going to find a better solution. But right now, I'm just getting it back together. I need to get it out of my garage and finish other projects. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to go ahead and bolt the motor back in and bolt the swing arm back in, start reconnecting everything. Alright, so the Yerf dog's starting to look like a Yerf dog again. And I've gotten a few of the things reconnected in here. Getting the motor in without with the oil lines already attached wasn't going to be possible. In fact, getting the motor back in was a lot more difficult than getting it out. It was some finagling and maneuvering around and pinching my fingers a few times, but it's in, and I've started just kind of reattaching everything because, well, those oil lines are no longer my priority right now. I'll get to them when I get to them. So I got the transmission. There was this sleeve here, and the bolt went through that sleeve. Nuts on that side. I believe that was 12mm on each side, I think. And then the front one, it was 14mm here. You got the zinc plated, tin plated, whatever the plating that is, shaft that goes in between there, and then the bolt goes into a 17mm nylock nut. Let's see if I can get that on there. Yeah, there it is, right there in the center. So got those two in. This is the transmission shift cable. That one was 3/8. That one was 7/16. This I haven't tightened up yet. That one's just hand tight for right now. I'll worry about adjusting that later. Reconnected the stator, and so all that's hooked back up. Plugged the spark plug wire back in. Let's see, chain's on there, but obviously that busted chain tensioner is going to have to get dealt with, and then the plate that the chain tensioner mounts to has the blown out bearing in it that supports this transmission shaft here. So I'll be looking to press that bearing out and find out what size it is, figure out where I can get a replacement for it, because yeah, I haven't seen anything that's labeled as that bearing from any of the web searching I've done. So I went ahead and so far I've somewhat connected the pedal brake on this side. This side I'm not going to connect the brakes again because this backing plate's just destroyed. So those cables, until I get a new brake to replace that side, those just aren't going to get reconnected. Other than that, so you got the as far as the bolt, I don't think you're going to be able to see that, but down there's that bolt for the swing arm. That is a 5/8 bolt. I believe it was like 9 threads per inch, and it's 7.5 inches overall. I don't know what kind of heat treating that is. I went and got a replacement bolt. I didn't use it because the threads on the bolt weren't as destroyed as I thought they would be after hitting them with a jackhammer. So I did get another nylock nut though, because that thing was destroyed. So that was the new nut you saw down there. Let's see, the starter wire's reconnected. I still got to do work in the front as far as the battery and the carburetor. Got to put the oil drain plug back in. There's a few little odds and ends left, but that's where it's at so far. And I'm just going to continue on. There's a little band-aid on the frame. Hopefully it holds. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Oh, and the other part that I guess you can't really see that too well, but if you could see how much play those wheels had. I know you can hear it. That's all in the wheel hub. So this axle has a welded on sprocket flange. It's like 1.5 inches here. I mean, I haven't measured it, but maybe 1 3/8, 1.5 inches. Splined in to the brake drums. So some weird spline there, haven't counted it. Then the brake drum bolts into its own little, I mean, in there's a standard 3-bolt flange, but this is their own contraption for the brake holder. 1 inch through here into that hub where it gets turned way down into a tiny little spline. And then those wear out and get super sloppy. And that's what's happened. So when it comes down to getting the oil cooler lines in, I'm going to take the skid plate off before doing all the bottom end work. It's not going to be much fun or very easy because it's kind of low to the ground and I don't have any good lift options for this thing. Get it up on some jack stands and roll under there, but not looking forward to it. So that's the status update, and I think that's going to be it for this particular video run. I'll get more footage, but I think this is enough for one sit down if you even made it this far. I do appreciate everyone that is watching, and I hope that you're getting your rover back together or something about this is helping you out. Leave a comment, subscribe, share with your friends, support the skinny. Thank you very much.